Hi, and welcome back. Today I want to talk about how you actually get started in the process towards your licensing in Canada. And by this now I mean actual paperwork. I'm not talking only about choosing pathways, I'm talking about really starting the process with the institutions and the governing bodies that you will need to be in contact with. So the very first step is to open an account on PhysiciansApply.ca. So PhysiciansApply.ca is a portal that is linked to the Medical Council of Canada, the MCC. On the MCC website, you can get a lot of information about licensing, but mostly related to the MCC QE1, the NAC, and the TDM, which is the Therapeutic Decision-Making Exam. Basically, those are the three exams that are organized by the Medical Council of Canada. When you sign up on PhysiciansApply.ca, you create an account, and there is where you centralize all the information related to your medical documentation. That is not only for applying for examinations, such as the MCC QE1, NAC, and the TDM, but also you get to upload all your verification information, such as passport, your medical degrees, and even all other medical training, such as postgraduate training and other documents, such as transcripts. So transcripts from your postgraduate training, from your medical school, your diplomas, and anything else that needs to be source verified. And I'll talk about source verification. Another example is your licenses. So every license you had in any jurisdiction in the world, you will need to get source verified as well. Now, what is source verification and what is jurisdiction? So first of all, when we talk about jurisdiction, it can be a country or a state. So for example, in Canada, we have the medical licensing authorities organized by province. So each province is a jurisdiction. Sometimes you will see that term being used for countries. So when you look at the Royal College approved jurisdictions, they are talking about countries where the residency training is recognized as an approved training by the Royal College of Physicians and Surgeons of Canada. When we talk about medical authorities and licenses, we're then maybe talking about provinces or states. So in Brazil, for example, where I'm from, the licensing authorities are organized by state. So because I had worked in two different states, I had a certificate of good standing or a certificate of professional conduct issued by each of these licensing bodies, and that had to be sent and source verified through the Medical Council of Canada. Now, what is source verification? You're going to hear that a lot, and not all documents has to be source verified. So when you send a document to the Medical Council of Canada, it's coming directly from you, even if it wasn't issued by you. So the Medical Council of Canada wants to make sure that the most important documents were not altered from since it was issued from the original source. So the way it does that is by requesting you to upload your version of the document that you have, and they will send that same document you uploaded directly to the person who issued your document and ask them to approve that that document, as it is sent by you, is the same as the original document that was issued. So basically, it's a verification that your document is equivalent to the original, and that verification is done through the original source of that document. So that's why it's called source verification. Now, this source verification that the Medical Council of Canada does is through the ECFMG, which is the Educational Council for Foreign Medical Graduates of the United States. So basically, the ECFMG is an organizing body in the United States that also does source verification for candidates that are applying, for example, for the USMLE exams, which is the board exams in medicine in the United States of America. So you do hear everything through PhysiciansApply.ca, and the Medical Council of Canada will be responsible for source verifying your documents through the ECFMG. You don't need to do it through the US and through Canada. You just do it through the PhysiciansApply.ca, and they will be in charge of doing everything else. Now, there's a few things that need to be highlighted when we're talking about source verification. First of all, you can't source verify any document. There's specific categories of documents that the Medical Council of Canada accepts for source verification. You can find the complete list on the Medical Council of Canada website, but I can tell you that the most common documents that will need to be source verified are the medical degree diploma, your medical school transcript, your completion of internship if it was done after your medical degree, and your residency training and residency certificate. If you have a specialty diploma or a specialty certificate, you can also source verify that. The other document that you can verify is your professional conduct related to the licenses you had in any other jurisdiction. So those documents can also be source verified. There are some documents such as reference letters or other types of letters that some people try to source verify. They will not be accepted or approved by the Medical Council of Canada if they're not on the list of documents that they source verify. The second important information is if the original document was issued in the English language or if it was issued in a foreign language. If you did your training in any country where English is not the primary language in the country, it's very likely that your original document is not issued in English. In that case, you will need to get it formally translated before you're able to submit it for source verification. The Medical Council of Canada in the past would allow you to do those two services combined on the same website, on the same portal. However, that is not the case anymore. As well, before they would accept a vast array of translators, but over the years, this has been reduced to only 3 companies now that are credentialed with the Medical Council of Canada for the source verification process. So every document that you have that you believe will need to be source verified, my suggestion to you is that you already translate it in one of those 3 credentialed companies so that you don't have to translate it twice. There's many clients that come to me that have to do translations more than once because they didn't do it in an approved translation service, and then their document is not accepted by the Medical Council of Canada. So my suggestion to you is that you log into the Medical Council of Canada website, that is mcc.ca, and on the search box you put translations. When you hit enter, you're going to get a specific page that will go over all the rules for translations, and there you're going to have listed 3 service providers that are credentialed with the MCC and are approved for translations that are going to be submitted for source verification. Once you have your documents translated by one of these services, you are able to then upload for source verification. You will need to create a cover letter, which is basically a document where you will put the name of the document that you're translating and the type of document and some additional information about you. So that cover letter has your name and has also some information about the document that is following or attached to that cover letter. That cover letter, along with the document that you uploaded, will then be sent to the source that issued that document to you. They will then understand why they're getting that request and who's it coming from, and that way it's easier to find the original document to compare with your version and sign off that that document is equivalent to the original document. Okay? It is important to note that this process of source verification can be very lengthy, and that's because not only you have your part of doing the translation and uploading of the document, the ECFMG might take up to 3 months to do the source verification. Most of the time nowadays, these processes of source verification are done online, which has sped up a lot compared to in the past when it was all done by mail. Even then, it can take up to 3 months depending on how long your institution takes to reply back to the request from the ECFMG. So my suggestion is that especially the medical degree be source verified as early as possible. You will need that document source verified for many of the things we'll talk about in the next sessions, okay? The other thing to consider is that once you create your cover letter, you will need to pay for the source verification processing before the process actually starts. The cost will be related to the type of document that you're source verifying and possibly to the size of the document. Usually it's related to the type of the document, since it's not being translated anymore through the Medical Council of Canada, and the length of the document doesn't have much of an impact. But you will have to do a separate cover letter, and there's a separate fee for every document that you request source verification for. Therefore, some people prefer to only request source verification of documents that they absolutely will need, and some people will just source verify all their documents so that it is ready to go in case they need it. It is up to you how you do it, but I strongly suggest that you start by doing your medical degree and your medical school transcript. Those two documents are always requested to be source verified. For specialists, I suggest that you also source verify at least your specialty certificate. In some situations, you might also be asked to verify the transcript of your residency training as well. But you can leave to do that closer to when you actually know you will need it. And for some situations as well, that source verification can be done at a later date. So for example, if you're applying for the practice eligibility route through the Royal College of Physicians and Surgeons of Canada, you are able to request your eligibility based on the documents you have and submit the source verification later. If your documents are not source verified, however, you will not be able to be certified even if you pass the exams. So my suggestion is that as soon as you get your eligibility letter, that you submit those documents for source verification to ensure that they will be source verified correctly and that you won't be disappointed or upset in the future in case you're not able to source verify them. Okay? So this is the initial bit that you need to know. The other part is that you also will need to upload documents about your identification, and usually those documents include your passport. So there is specific instructions regarding how you source verify your passport and your biographical information, and you can find all those informations directly on PhysiciansApply.ca, and especially after you create an account. Inside your account, you will be able to find detailed information on how to upload these documents and make sure that you have your information ready to go when you need to. Whenever you apply for an actual license, doesn't matter if it is a clinical assistant license, a fellowship, or a residency application through CARMS, all those documents that you have on your Physicians Apply account will be sent directly from your account on Physicians Apply to the body that you are applying for a license or for an examination. So for example, if you are doing a process with the Royal College of Physicians and Surgeons of Canada, you are able to log on the Physicians Apply account that you have and then share all your documents directly with the Royal College of Canada. Usually, for some documents such as the medical degree and the transcript, the Royal College and other bodies, so the College of Physicians and Surgeons of Ontario or the College of Surgeons and Physicians of any other province, will usually only accept if these documents are shared through PhysiciansApply.ca. So it is very important that you have these documents ready. Some of the provinces will also start the licensing process through the Physicians Apply website. It is not the case of Ontario, but is the case, for example, with Alberta, Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick. So it is important that you have these documents uploaded and ready. And even in Ontario, even though the process doesn't start through the Physicians Apply website, you need to share your documents through the Physicians Apply website. So it doesn't matter how, it doesn't matter where you're gonna go and what license you're gonna apply, you will need these documents verified. Finally, one last thing I wanna talk about Physicians Apply. If you are going to apply for permanent residency in Canada, it is essential that you have the Education Credential Assessment, the ECA. Okay, the ECA or ECA is a document issued by the Medical Council of Canada that is the only one accepted by Immigration Canada as a proof that your medical degree is accepted in Canada as being valid. A lot of people will do WES, which is the World Educational Services, and I would like to highlight that WES is used for most other professions, and they will do your verification for your medical degree if you submit it, but that will not be accepted by Immigration Canada, and that therefore your permanent residency application will not go forward. So I strongly suggest that you source verify your medical degree so that you can then, after it's source verified, apply for ECA in case you are also going to apply for your permanent residency in Canada. Okay? So this is the initial bit that you must get ready and you can get that started right away. There are fees related to most of the things that I'm saying here, such as source verification, translations, and permanent residency applications. So planning is really important, and the earlier you start planning this and getting ready for it, the easier it will be on the long run, since there are a lot of fees that will be involved with applications, examinations, translations, question banks, and other things that will be needed throughout the process. So stay tuned, and let's go on to the next session.